Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is your host Majestic speaking, and today we're going to be looking into some more MechWarrior Online here. Not only is this going to be a brand new video for you guys to check out, but it's also going to be the start of another new series that I'm going to be starting. I know I already have the fan request build series. I know that I have the new gameplay series that features the new mech installments into the game and the Majestic's Majestic build series, but these videos are going to center completely around the competitive landscape of MechWarrior Online. So what we're going to be discussing and going through with these videos are the tactics, the loadouts, the skills, the quirks, the gameplay, the builds, everything you could possibly imagine in the competitive space and why these mechs are frequently used. So, you know, that's the entire premise around why these videos are going to be made. They are going to be a little bit more extensive with the explanation. So, you know, there might be, you know, more explanation involved than there is gameplay, and I'm telling you guys that ahead of time because I hope that you stick around, and if you do decide to go into a competitive landscape, that you stick around and really understand how detailed I'm getting with my explanation on these builds. And you know, whether that means that you decide to go into a more casual unit that just does occasional scrimmages, a league such as MRBC, or you enter yourself into something like a world tournament, which is like the most competitive that you can get, even though they aren't that frequent. You know, hopefully you find these videos useful, beneficial for whatever level of competition you want to enter into, and utilize that to your advantage. Utilize this knowledge to your advantage to hopefully give you a leg up. So, without further ado, I'm going to get right into it here. This is the one of the stapled mechs in the competitive space. I've seen it too many times out there on the battlefield in the competitive arena. This is the Wolverine 6K. I got the champion variant for the XP bonus, 30%. And the reason it's a stapled mech in the competitive arena, just from the surface, it's a 55-ton medium. So it's right on the cusp, almost being considered a heavy. It's one of the heaviest of the mediums, obviously, which gives you the extra, you know, tonnage to work with, so that you can place a bigger engine. You can place, you know, more armor hardpoints for protection, and you can place a more potent loadout in the mech, so that you can really do some work on it. That makes these all-purpose kind of mechs, and certainly like kind of more of a perfected mech to take out there, only you know, from a competitive standpoint. Obviously in the pug and group queue, it's a whole different dynamic there, but for all intensive purposes of competitive gameplay, this is the one that I wanted to start with because it is one of the staples that I see very frequently used. And you know, just from the surface, seeing it's a 55-ton heavy gives you that extra tonnage, and it falls in the medium class. You know, in the competitive space, there are stipulations, there's guidelines, there's rules that you have to abide by. For instance, they might say bring out a light, medium, heavy, and assault. It's a 4-on-4 or something like that. And obviously you want something that has more tonnage to work with for a durability standpoint, right? So not only does it give you this mech with 5 extra tons, or you know, 5, 10, however many tons extra of durability because it is a heavier medium, but it also can fit a bigger engine and again have a more potent loadout, which is certainly more beneficial. So just from that standpoint, that's the first of many that I'm going to go through here as to why this is one of the top selections for a medium when you're in the competitive landscape, given the premise of the competition. So, first I'm going to go through the quirks that are involved with this variant in particular, and then I'm going to go through the loadout, both the stock and what I did to it. Let's go through the quirks first. Well, first I'll actually say that what the hardpoints are: 5 energy, 1 missile, and 1 AMS. All of the quirks, though, on this thing cater to energy or laser weapons. So it has laser duration bonus of 20%, energy heat generation bonus of 10%, and an energy range bonus, and I think this one is the most critical, 25%. In a competitive scene, that's where all of the trades are going to be happening, at range. And at the beginning, you want to be able to outtrade your opponent with these kinds of range quirks. So between the energy and the laser quirks, you know, kind of working together here between the heat generation and everything and the duration standpoint, the range is critical, especially in the beginning of a match where you're trading at extensive distances. You're going to have the leg up on any other, you know, of any other mech, unless it's this one, from the range aspect. I mean, I know that there are other mechs out there that do have that do have range quirks on there, but this is for the medium. This just speaks more as to why people want to take this thing out there. You have the extra weight again, and now you have range. You have extended range. So obviously, the only thing that you can cater on this thing to is very, very long-range laser or energy quirks, or energy hardpoints to be filled. So what I placed on this versus the stock are almost the same. The stock came with a medium pulse laser in the head and 3 ER larges in the right arm. I decided to strip out the medium pulse laser and take out the 3 ER larges. Place endo steel and ferrofibrous on there for the extra tonnage, and it came with an XL270, which I replaced with an XL305. So now it goes 96.5 kph. I'm not utilizing the missile hardpoint at all. I'm not utilizing the AMS, and I don't utilize the energy hardpoint in the head or one of the energy hardpoints in the right arm. I decided to strictly stick with the large pulse lasers. I put 3 large pulse lasers in the arm, and these are probably one of the most potent weapons, especially in the game right now. The large pulse lasers are very, very awesome weapons to take out there onto the battlefield. So definitely keep that in mind when you're building it. In case you do decide to go with just range of an ER large or something like that, just keep in mind the large pulse lasers, they might not have as much range as an ER large, but they have the DPS, the duration, the heat generation, all encompassing makes it a very potent and awesome weapon to figure into your builds. So I placed the three large pulse lasers. Learn English. The 3 large pulse lasers in here with the XL305, and that, even with the 3 large pulse lasers, I am maintaining a 1.4 heat management ratio, which is absolutely awesome. 14 double heat sinks, 10 in the engine, 4 that I placed on there externally. So not only does it have great heat management, but it also has great heat dissipation as well. So just from this little chart that you could see, obviously I'm filling out 77 out of the 78 slots. All 55 tons are used. And the way that I'm able to do 96.5 kph with an XL305 in this thing, it is completely mastered. And if you enter the competitive landscape on any level, the mechs that you take have to be mastered. There's no doubt about it. You are only serving as a detriment to your team if you do not have your mech mastered before you walk out onto the battlefield, because everyone else who is on the opposing side probably does have all of their mechs mastered, fully quirked, fully skilled, and full of modules. So you want to make sure that you don't put yourself at an automatic disadvantage right out of the gate, and make sure it's mastered. Take the time, take the energy, and take the C-bills. Invest in the mechs, okay? So for this one in particular, again, it goes 96.5 kph, 3 large pulse lasers, XL305. I pretty much covered everything on here from the heat management and dissipation standpoint. This thing is filled to the brim, and again, these are subjective builds. Obviously, people tweak them and put on like ER larges versus the large pulse, and they might put a medium up top or a different engine in there. But this is the build that I love to work with personally, and in the competitive landscape, I can only prove that in a couple minutes when I show you the modules that I place on it and how it all kind of comes together. So, but first, before I go through any of that, I'm going to show you the role that this mech plays on the battlefield. This is not the mech that you're going to run out into the middle of the field and help push with, okay? As much as you need to protect this side of your arm is as much as you need to use it, which sounds contradictory, but that's where you guys have to figure out what I mean by that. It's completely armored. You can't leave any hardpoints out of this arm because this is where your entire loadout is focused. It has armor everywhere except for the light arm, or the left arm. The light arm. Left and right mixed together, the light arm. So the left arm, when I finished building this thing, I had 0.6 or 0.7 tons left or something like that, and I just filled up the left arm with armor so that, in case I am on the battlefield and I am getting targeted, I can turn to my right and absorb the damage with this shield, is what I like to see it as, which protects the critical hard points and the critical components like the left and right torso with the XL engine, as well as the right arm, which carries my entire loadout. So just keep that in mind when you're taking this thing out there. You need to have some sort of protection, and you need to understand its role. So again, because these arms are so low slung, you cannot use this mech to pitch your angles up or down at extreme angles in order to make your shots. This is a poker. It's a peeking kind of mech, okay? So you're not running out into the middle of the battlefield to help with a push. You're there as a support mech to keep mechs back in order to get your team more into position so that you can actually gain the upper hand. Once your team is in position, then you move up, and then you again provide the same role. It's kind of like rinse and repeat. So that is the intention of using this mech on the battlefield, the low slung arms. If you try and pitch the angles to get your shots off, you're only going to be hitting the obstacles that are in front of your opponents. They'll be able to see your head, you'll be able to see them, except they'll probably be able to shoot you, and you won't be able to shoot them. So, maps like Canyon Network are beautiful for this map. Viridian Bog, Tourmaline Desert, perfect. Great maps to work with this mech. You have to peek out from behind obstacles, so only the right side of this mech is exposed. If you on maps that you NASCAR around, you're going to have to go counterclockwise in order to leave this arm exposed to fire. If you go clockwise, you're going to have to expose the entire mech in order to get this part of your mech exposed in order to fire. So you have to keep that in mind, that you have to A, understand your position, and B, understand how this thing should be utilized on the battlefield and which ways that you have to go in order to make sure that not only are you landing hits on your opponents, but you're tactically advancing with your team in order to get the strategic benefit versus your opponent. So just keep that in mind. So yeah, don't try and pitch with the arms on any of the maps. Use it as a peeker, poking kind of mech. Now onto the modules. The most expensive part of this mech. I spent 15 million C-bills outfitting this thing with modules. They are all filled up. I'll go through the consumables first. The Coolshot 6 and the 9x9. Those are being used to further benefit my heat management and heat dissipation. In the competitive scene, if you cool down, that is a green light for your opposing team to attack you, and they will. They will swarm. And even if you do survive shutting down and rebooting and everything like that, I can guarantee you at least one of your hardpoints, at least one component on your mech is going to be critted, and you don't want to be on the receiving end of that. You'd rather hope they shut down and be doing the damage than receiving it, because then that leaves you at an extremely vulnerable disadvantage by shutting down like that. So, and people, especially in the competitive landscape, are very, very inept to taking full advantage of that, making sure you pay because you can't manage your heat. So in some cases, you're not even allowed to put strikes as consumables, artillery or airstrikes on your mechs. You can only, use UAVs or cool shots. And this mech is a very heavy medium. So I'm not going to be scouting with it. I'm not going to be running around so I can pop a UAV on there. So the only thing that's really left is to make sure that your heat is even more beneficial for your own intensive purposes. So the Coolshot 6 and the 9x9 are the way to go. First mech weapon module that I place on there, Target Info Gathering. Critical. Reduces the time that it takes for me to get critical information about about the opposition by 25%. So I'll gain information about where they're critted out, where their weak spots are, 25% faster. And especially if my team is focusing fire on a particular mech, I'll be able to sever either some sort of component off, or even deal the killing blow. By knowing that information faster and focusing on those points. The weapon modules, as you can imagine, I only have one weapon type on there, which is the large pulse lasers. So it has the large pulse laser cooldown of 12%, so I'll be able to fire them a little quicker. And the large pulse laser range, it adds another 10% on top of the 25% that's already built into the mech. This thing speaks for itself, why you would take it onto the battlefield as your choice of a medium in a competitive landscape. So, these two combined, obviously they're my only option, But in the same token, you know, they are super beneficial, especially from the range standpoint. I have 35% bonus in my range just from, you know, the quirks and the modules that I placed into it. And the last but most expensive module that I placed on here, the Advanced Seismic Sensor, that, I'll read the description for you guys, allows the detection and identification of enemy mechs via vibrations in the ground. But you must be stationary. It can sense mechs up to 250 meters out. So, you know, it will come a time if you're in a competitive round, or any kind of competitive space, where you might be the last guy left. You might be the last guy standing, and who knows, it might be a 1 versus 2, or a 1-on-1, or whatever it is. You want to have the advantage on your side. By placing the Advanced Seismic Sensor and the target info gathering, not only will I know the position of my enemy if they're the ones that are going to be aggressive on me, but I'll be able to gather that critical information about them 25% faster and hopefully deal a more critical blow to them before they can do so on me. So, combined, all these are 15 million C-bills for one mech, for one variant, for one chassis. You know, I mean, it speaks for itself as to why, you know, these are considered the competitive staples in the game. People have outfitted them completely, and you can see why. They cater specifically to the quirks. They have one particular role that they're good at, and and units configure them in the ways that kind of mold and shape the rest of your lance. So you can understand why this mech is so potent and why it is utilized on the battlefield so much. Gives you that extended range support, along with the potency of utilizing these modules and so forth in order to understand and see enemy mech positions and crit their hard points and components more severely and quicker than anyone else on the battlefield. So again, it does need to be fully mastered, and it does need to have all the modules. So start saving now in case you do decide to go and try and work with the 6K. You have to have it mastered, and you have to have all the modules on there for any level of competitive gameplay. Give your team the advantage. Don't be the weak link, okay? Enough of me chatting, just really quick. Again, I put the polygon camo on there. Purple, red, and black are the colors. Cockpit fully decked out in Davian, in case you guys were curious. It's all cosmetic. But I think it's about time we take this thing out onto the battlefield. I'm only going to be doing one round of gameplay for this series. This is another series that's only going to be one round. Because of the fact that it's competitive, I cannot bring myself to, you know, spoon-feeding you guys every single advantage of using this mech, okay? I want to give you a little bit of a taste, a little bit of a glimpse as to how this mech is used and where its positives and benefits are. But as for the rest, depending on the map, I want you guys to figure that out for yourself. If you decide to use this mech, I want you to be able to intuitively think about where you would position yourself, intuitively realize where your arms are, where your hard points are, and utilize that loadout to its fullest extent, because in the competitive scene, you know, there is a level of, how do I explain this? Independency. Even though you're with a team, they are relying on you to outfit your mech to benefit the team, right? So you need to make sure that you can help out your team in the best light possible. So I really would prefer to not do multiple rounds on this, because I don't want to give away tactics or you know, frequently used positions or gameplay in that nature, because it is competitive, and if it's out there in the public and everyone starts to use it and everything, then, you know, it obviously puts these mechs at a little bit of a disadvantage. So I want you guys to figure that out for yourself as to where else it would benefit for you, and I think that that's a good idea, because of the fact that I know that you guys are some of you are new players and everything, but that's what separates the great pilots from the good, is that kind of knowledge and intuitive thinking of where this mech fits into the competitive scene. So just keep that in mind. It's nothing personal. I'm not holding out on you guys or anything like that, but it's just to give you a little bit of glimpse into how this thing is. Also, before we start this match, just a quick reminder: if you decide to join a unit, just so you know, if they say take out a medium, and we want to, like, you're doing a tryout or something like that, and they say take out a medium, they are judging you based off your selection. So you might be very good with, I don't know, what am I talking about here? A hunchback, but it might not be optimal for a competitive gameplay. So you do have to keep that in mind, because if it's not competitively beneficial and you decide to take it out there just because you're personally good with it, that's not helping out your team. And they want to see if you can pilot one of these, the ones that are out there on the battlefield that will be of extreme use to the team, that will benefit the entire team as a whole. So they will critique and judge you based off that. So definitely make sure your mech selection is on point. And if you could take out a Wolverine 6K and pilot it very well, you're going to leave your team at a very, very good advantage. So just keep that in mind. Now let's get into the game here. Enough of me blabbing. Oh boy, Atlas. Okay, backing up, back. Storm Crow. Okay, he's not there anymore. If we whip around the corner here.
Target acquired.
Again, I need to be going counterclockwise around this map if I want to have the advantage. So, I might be getting a little too aggressive here. I'm going to wait a little bit for my team to come up. What is this? Oh, it's the Jaeger. Hit me in the leg. Doesn't matter. Let's push on these guys. And that's alright. Alright, my team is coming around, which is perfect. Get the better positioning. Gonna swing down a little bit. Two to two right now, so it is a pretty even match. If I can expose them on the right side, that's where this thing is the most beneficial to the team. So I'm going to stick with that. And you are done, sir. Good night.
Target acquired.
What is that? Oh, that's that cicada again. Is that the same one from earlier?
Missile.
Nope, nope, nope. Backing up. I'll leave that cicada to go attack that cicada. And trust, even though I'm in the pug queue, that he will do his job. So hopefully they just pick each other off.
New target.
Ooh, he's done. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Gonna pop up on the top here.
Target acquired.
Should I? Do I have any friends up here? No, I do not.
Target
and okay, I have this cataphract up here. But I have the range advantage. I do have the range advantage. Ow. Okay, my right arm is critted. I need to be careful now. We do have the advantage, no need to get aggressive by myself. I do have to play the support role, so I'm going to be helping out this this Warhammer and the Cataphract. We're going to have to get into position pretty quick and take advantage pretty quick.
New target acquired.
And he is... How is he not dead?
Target destroyed.
There he goes. Good night, sir. What do we have here?
New target acquired.
Nice, I have that cataphract with me.
Target destroyed.
You can hit me with your ERPPCs all you want, little buddy.
Acquired.
As long as it's not that other side. Ow! That panther's got to go, man.
Target destroyed.
He's ruining the mojo.
Target acquired.
Crit him up.
Target destroyed.
Oh, almost got the
Target
kill.
Acquired.
And I am starting to heat up like a mofo. Come on. Let's get him. Let's get him. Let's get him. Yeah, he's done. You have seen enough. You have seen enough of the battlefield, sir. What are you shooting at, sir? And there you go. So one round, I played this mech exactly how it's supposed to be. You know, supporting everyone else. You know, obviously there are times, obviously, when you have to take a little bit of aggression into your own hands. 605 damage. 2 kills, 8 assists. 4 times I dealt the most damage. That is what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Whoa. Excuse me. 605 damage. That's the most on the team. And that was with a Wolverine 6K. It's a medium class mech. So the fact that, you know, I was able to outmaneuver everyone else on the team with just this mech alone, I think proves its worth even in the pug queue. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. Become Royal today and subscribe if you haven't already. And remember, if you have subscribed and you want to be a part of the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, just feel free to shoot me a message. Let me know that you want to be a part of that, and you know, I'll definitely throw your name into the mix there. Again, this is Majestic speaking with the competitive series that I've just started today. This is the Wolverine 6K champion. Perfectly executed out there on the battlefield, even for the group queue. You know, stuck with the team. Help support in any way that I could. And, you know, it worked out in our favor. 605 damage is no joke any day out there on the battlefield. But in any case, again, thank you guys for tuning in this time, and I hope you liked the video. If you did, leave a comment or send me an email. I will be responding to you guys pretty shortly. So thank you guys so much again for all the continued support. Had no idea that the channel will grow this much over the 6 months since inauguration, but it's absolutely incredible. So I have all you guys to thank for that. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. So in the meantime, keep at it, keep practicing, keep asking questions, and keep trying new things. That's the only way that you're going to improve. That's how I, you know, improved as a pilot as well. So, you know, it's these kinds of games and these kinds of rounds that obviously soak in the information and, you know, do with it as you will. Hopefully it's more informative for you guys in case you do decide to go into the competitive landscape. But in any case, now it's just me blabbing, so I'm just going to cut it off here. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.